Throughout history, alleged affairs by American historical figures, for whatever reason, have been very common. For example, this, oh, and I can't forget this one. But there is one alleged affair that seems to have more depth than a simple Thomas Jefferson having a one night stand with a woman who also happens to be an Italian artist. The alleged affair I am referring to is, of course, the Alexander Hamilton and John Lawrence potential romantic relationship from the years 1777 to 1782. If you have no idea who either of these people are, then this next part of the video is made especially for you. Born January 11th, 1755, Alexander Hamilton by absolutely no means had it easy. For example, shortly after he was born, his father vanished, just left him and his mother. And his mother, well, many years after, she had sadly fallen ill. And there was nothing Alexander could do about it. Alexander had also fallen ill, but he recovered. His mother? Well, not so much. But then, after an incredibly traumatizing experience with a huge hurricane, long story, Hamilton wrote a very, very detailed letter about his experience in the hurricane and poured his feelings into it. And everybody was shocked of how talented and brilliant this kid was. So, in other words, he wrote a kick letter about a hurricane. Because of this letter, people were very impressed. But there were two people in particular who were very impressed, which was Hugh Knox and Thomas Stevens. In fact, the two men were so impressed that in the year of 1772, they decided to ship Hamilton out to New York. Like, literally, he was sent by ship. Now that Hamilton was finally in New York, he had way more resources than he could have ever imagined back at St. Croix in the Caribbean. One of the resources Hamilton had found in New York was, of course, college. The college he enrolled for was King's College, which also happened to be a private school, but now it's called Columbia University. A private school is basically just a school that doesn't use government funding and relies on tuition fees and donations and stuff. Yeah. From there, Hamilton did many things to help out the revolution. And then Hamilton met Aaron Burr. Hamilton and Aaron Burr quickly became friends. In fact, it was Aaron Burr who introduced him to people that he would become very close friends with in the near future, including during the Revolutionary War. These people consisted of Marquis de Lafayette, Hercules Mulligan, and definitely the most notable, John Lawrence. But we'll come back to him later. A year later, in 1777, Hamilton became George Washington's right-hand man. But before Hamilton became George Washington's right-hand man, Aaron Burr really wanted, more than anything, to become his right-hand man. So, this became the start of the Hamilton and Aaron Burr feud. Now, everything else about Hamilton is not related to what I'm talking about in this video, so we're just not going to talk about it. But if you're interested, feel free to look it up. It's very interesting. Wrong picture. Here you go. There's not a whole lot known on John Lawrence, but we do know some things. Like, John Lawrence was born in Charleston, South California on October 28th, 1754. And that's just alleged. But we do know that he traveled to New York as part of his military service during the American Revolutionary War, where he met Hamilton. Since we don't know a whole lot about John Lawrence, there's only one more thing worth mentioning in his history. So, here it is. John Lawrence devoted his entire life to help stop slavery. The things he did, well, he helped free slaves and fought for them, and he brought in the proposal for a black regiment. In 1779, John Lawrence insisted on a foundation of a regiment composed of enslaved African Americans to prove that they are just like us and just as useful, including in war. Now it is finally time to talk about the John Lawrence and Alexander Hamilton potential affair. I have put together 3 quotes from John Lawrence and Hamilton's letters to each other. I'm going to read one and then explain. All right. Ahem. Dear Lawrence, cold in my professions, warm in my friendships, I wish, my dear Lawrence, it might be in my power, by action rather than words, to convince you that I love you. Alright, let's break down just that piece. So, one of the main issues with this theory is that back in the day, friends would get very flirty and sometimes too flirty, if you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, but this doesn't really seem this seems like serious. This seems like you're confessing your love to your dearest. That whatever. Let's move on to the next one. Dear Hamilton, I feel the deepest affection at the news we have just received of the loss of our dear and immensible friend, General Lee. In our situation of total ignorance of what is passing the political world, it is impossible for me to make any comment that would be interesting to you. The assurance you have given me of your friendship are very dear to me. I wish to be in a situation that would permit me to prove my gratitude, and if I cannot, I am convinced you will never doubt that I am mostly sincerely your friend. Now, this one just seems like a friendly reminder, but something about it, it's just like it shows love with the person. I don't know what it is about it. Uh, let me know if you agree, but yeah, let, let's just go to the next one. Dear Lawrence, I wish, my dear Lawrence, it might be in my power, by actions rather than words, to convince you that I love you. I shall only tell you that till you bid us adieu, I hardly knew the value you had taught my heart to set upon you. I mean, seriously, do I even have to, explain this one? It's obvious. I mean, they are literally going back and forth, confessing their love. There's no joking around friendship about this. This is an affair. There is no potential, there is no alleged. This is an affair.